if you wanted to study human consciousness, how would you do it? How are you going to conquer the topic of human consciousness with your scientific militias? These two scientists decided to start their scientific attack on consciousness through targeting the visual consciousness. Why did they choose the visual consciousness in particular, you might ask? They could have chosen other types like tactile, auditory, or any other kind of awareness. They explain their decision by saying it is the easiest to study, and also they say this: we choose visual consciousness rather than other forms because humans are very visual animals, and our visual prospects are especially vivid and rich in information. In addition, visual input is often highly structured yet easy to control. What any of this means, I have no idea, to be honest. Let's just say that visual consciousness is easy to study, okay? There is a second reason though for why they chose visual consciousness. Because for ethical reasons, scientists cannot make other fellow human beings go through horrible conditions like harming their skin or sight to study the results. So they decided to do it on animals. Cool! I love humanity. Oh, and a side note though, ethically, I think these sorts of experiments should not be done on humans nor animals. But I wonder if these experiments are so necessary that we have to do these sorts of experiments. And I actually searched about this topic on the internet, and I quickly discovered that we actually do not need to do cruel scientific experiments on living beings. Like, there are other options like human cells, mechanical devices, and computer models. Anyways, back to the paper. Visual system has another advantage. There are many experiments that, for ethical reasons, cannot be done on humans, or can be done on animals. Fortunately, the visual system of primates appears fairly similar to our own. Many experiments on vision have already been done on animals, such as the macaque monkey. So, our main two reasons for why visual consciousness is chosen are that it is easier to study and that it is very similar to other animals that were subject to numerous studies regarding visual consciousness. Cool. This choice of visual system is a personal one. Other neuroscientists might prefer one of other sensory systems. It is, of course, important to work on alert animals. Alert animals, that's a weird term because I tried to look for its meaning on the internet and have found nothing. But hey, I guess the images kinda helped me out here. Moving on, very light anesthesia may not make much different to the response of neurons in macaque V1. Why is that? But it certainly does to neurons in cortical areas like V4 or IT. So V4 and V3 and also IT are all areas in the monkey's brain. Cool. Moving on. Inferotemporal. What is that? Okay. So based on Wikipedia, this is the inferotemporal. It is also worth to mention that the inferotemporal is located right behind the eyes, thus plays a significant role in the visual consciousness process. Now, why are we conscious? We have suggested, previous study, that the biological usefulness of visual consciousness in humans is to produce the best current interpretation of the visual scene in the light of past experience, either for ourselves or for our ancestors, embodied in our genes, and to make this interpretation directly available for sufficient time to the parts of the brain that contemplate and plan voluntary output of one sort or another, including speech. Okay, I really feel like we don't have anything interesting or worthwhile to paraphrase or further discuss. So, moving on. Philosophers, in their carefree way, very condescending way to refer to philosophers, anyways, have invented a creature called a zombie, quote unquote. You can't give the most uninteresting segment ever, then hit us with this, like, damn it, this came out of nowhere, bruh. Anyways, moving on. Who is supposed to act as normal people do, but be completely unconscious. This seems to us to be an unattainable scientific idea. Like, yeah, duh, it's science fiction, I guess. There is now suggestive evidence that part of the brain does behave like a zombie. Okay, so what part of our brain that does behave like a zombie? That is, in some cases, a person uses current visual input to produce a relevant motor output. without being able to say what was seen. Okay, I guess they do not want to clarify what part of the brain does behave like a zombie, but they give us a scientific definition of the zombie. Not bad, not bad. Now, there are two concepts that I want to emphasize here. The first concept is visual input, and the second concept is the motor output. Visual inputs are every information your brain receives from your eyes. Motor outputs, however, are every reaction your brain produces after processing this information. Motor outputs can be a sudden move, an emotion, or even spoken words. So now, when we look at the zombie, okay, this is an example of a being that has very low visual input and a very low motor output at the same time. The zombie might not be very fully aware that maybe like someone is walking right next to them or behind them, and at the same time, if you scream at them or like cut their hand, they will not react. The paper then again, out of nowhere, brings up frogs. Okay, frogs have only two streams of consciousness. One stream of consciousness is for hunting the prey, and the other is for jumping from one disc to the other. Eat, bug, jump. This is literally their whole stream of thoughts. Though, even then, paper suggests that even these thoughts are not actually thoughts, because even these streams of consciousness operate unconsciously in a zombie-like manner. Then the paper asks this question: why does not our brain consist simply of a series of such specialized zombie systems? Me eat now, me sleep, me make money by selling my labor for a soulless corporate lizard entrepreneur, and stuff like this. To suggest that such an arrangement is insufficient when very many such systems are required. Better to produce a single but complex representation and make it available for sufficient time to the parts of the brain that make a choice among many different but possible plans for action. So, instead of having small unconscious streams of thought dedicated for simple tasks, our consciousness operates as a single powerhouse, specializing in a very single mission, but can produce many course of actions as a result, i.e. can produce many motor outputs, whereas the frog can only produce the output of eating a bug or jumping around. This, in our view, is what seeing is about. As pointed out by us, it is sensible to have a single conscious interpretation of the visual sense in order to eliminate hesitation. In other words, visual consciousness might only produce one sort of output, but there are many possibilities for what could be the motor output by the brain. It could be ordering the body to run, it could be producing the feeling of love, or anything for that matter. Milner and Goodale, I guess, suggest that in primates there are two systems, which we shall call the online system. Wait, what is meant by the term online? Mind you, this is like 1995. Terms like online and offline are not that widely used like today. And I tried to look for the meaning of the term. Unfortunately, all I have found was stuff related to computers and the internet and shit like that. But I did not give up. I clicked on the second page. Sadly, there were no useful results. Anyways, primates have two neural systems. One of them is called the online system and the seeing system. The online system is the conscious system, while the seeing system is the unconscious system. I really do not see how will this help us later on, but I digress. The general characteristics of these two systems and some of the experimental evidence for them are outlined below in the section on the online system. There is anecdotal evidence from sports. It is often stated that a trained tennis player reacting to a fast serve has no time to see the ball. The seeing comes afterwards. In a similar way, a sprinter is believed to start run before they consciously hear the starting pistol. Okay, this is kinda interesting. So, as I understand it right now, regarding the sprinter example, online systems sense the sound of the pistol, so it's produced the motor output for the body to run before even the auditory system's delivery of the information to the conscious mind. Now that's crazy. So like, before you even realize you heard the pistol, you already decided to run. This was the end of the segment, Why Are We Conscious? I think there was no suggestion for any clear answer for why we are conscious. However, I am happy that there were no conclusions such as we are conscious because of survival evolution or stuff like that. I'm not anti-evolution, okay? But I really hate the recent trend of evolutionary explanatory for everything in life. Like, a certain feature in a living being might help this living being to survive. But I do not think that this living being developed this feature to survive. You know what I mean? Anyways, I think I will stop here. I do not know if I'm going to continue be discussing this paper that way, or if I'm going to read the whole paper and then make a summary of it, because I want to upload about other topics. Anyways, I'll end this video here. I will discuss the next segment about the multi-levels of visual representation in the next video, or maybe I will just talk about another topic. For now, bye.